You do not have to accept every gift someone tries to give you. And I know that sounds strange. We don't have to take it. No. Because usually when someone thinks that, when we think about gifts, we think about something positive. But I'm not talking about physical gifts in today's video. I am talking about the labels, the projection, the shame, the opinion that most cases we didn't ask for, the limitations people hand on to you. And that you quietly carry for years as if they belong to you. And honestly, I don't think enough people realize what you are allowing to, that you're allowed to put those gifts down. It's not yours to carry, it's not yours to keep, it's not yours to have. And for me, I think for the longest time, I accepted things people said about me as my truth. I took it as it's me. And not because they were true, but because they were repeated. They came from authority. They came from like an emotional moment, right? And some opinions feel true simply because they hurt. When they said it, we felt something. It felt like there was an element of truth. Because someone says something like, "Oh, you're too much. Ugh, you're too emotional. Come on now, you're too sensitive. You're not smart enough." Like, what did you say? You're like, what level are you? You're not leadership material. That's not interpreter level. The difficult, like the awkward, like all those kind of things being just spattered out or said or whatever. And without realizing it, we carry it. We take it on. Not as a comment, but as our identity. We take it as a badge of honor. We take it on. You know, it's my teacher when I was training to become a sign language interpreter said to me, because you're dyslexic, you can't be an interpreter. And I was like, oh my goodness, I didn't even know it was a thing. And I took that belief, I agreed with them, like, oh my, I guess I can't be an interpreter then. If someone who is taking me through the process to become one is now telling me in the field, this is not it. It's not a thing. People don't, like me, do not become this. Then who am I? I took that on as oh gosh, oh, I guess I can't. I accepted it. I like, okay then, right? Things like that happen, you know? Someone looks at you a certain way, the tone they used to speak to you makes you feel as if, am I even supposed to be in this space? Someone says something, does something, and then what they say, we take on. We accept it as our truth, as it is us. And we don't realize how many things we have accepted, myself included. Like just shared, being told I couldn't be an interpreter, I accepted that fear. I accepted the emotions long before I challenged it logically. I took it on. Like it was as if, okay. And sometimes people would hand you fear disguised as truth. And then would take it on like, oh, okay, oh, here's the thing. Not every opinion deserves residence in your identity. Not every opinion deserves space in your brain. You don't need to live rent-free in your thoughts, in your thinking, in your space. It does not need to be that. It's just an opinion. The only reason why sometimes these opinions and these things that's been lashed out is because we're being triggered by something has like that has an element of truth in us. And I think this is why a lot of capable people shrink, not because of the lack of ability, because there is still carrying an identity that when those things were handed from like a wounded, like those things are handed like from people who are wounded, like people who like a careless moment that happened and embarrassing moments that happen, an authority figure who went wrong. So when all those things may have happened in the past and then someone says something, it hurts. We accept it because maybe somewhere along the line, something like there was some truth to it, even though it's not. So in that way, we get affected because it's riding on identity. Somewhere subconsciously, we feel like we accept it. We see the truth in it, even though it's not. Even though it's not for us to carry. There is that like, maybe, yeah, maybe I am. Maybe I shouldn't do this. Maybe they're right. Like, am I supposed to be here? But we want this, we want to do the thing, but there's still that underlining thing that is making that happen. The insecurity that we haven't dealt with, or that thing that's affected that is making what they're saying, making it easier for us to accept the gifts when really we shouldn't be, you know? Um, and it's a tough one in a sense that we feel hurt, we feel like sad or whatever, because somewhere deep down we feel maybe it might be true, even though it's their own fear that's been disguised as truth. There's an element of us unconsciously in our identity that still feels like, okay, yeah, but it's not ours to carry because you become responsible for proving wrong something you never should have accepted in the first place. Now you have to now start doing the work to now say, no, this is not. Because some people are exhausted because they have spent years fighting identities that never belonged to them. We're accepting it, we're doing that. So for me, healing started when I realized that I do not have to emotionally keep everything people hand me. I don't have to take on their truth that they think is truth. Not every criticism, not every projection, not every rejection, not every embarrassment, label, opinion has to become my self-concept. It doesn't have to be mine. Just because someone said something, someone said it, doesn't mean it's mine, doesn't make it yours. And this is where the calm conviction comes in. Not anger, not lecture, I just don't carry this anymore. This is not my truth, this is yours. So I remember a situation where one of my boys came back and, okay, here's the deal. I do not have time I have 4 boys, and I do not have time to be doing grooming sections or like looking after hairstyles, this, that, da, da, da. We going short and low. We maintain it is easy. We go in regularly and sort it out. When you're older, and then you can then manage yourself, then you can then start doing all those things. So it's a short, cut, done. So because of that, a lot of kids like will just make fun, especially like when you have a clean cut, they like you give it a slap back or whatever, or they say this coming like they would say certain things to them and stuff like that. And it always like bugged one of my kids. And I've always told them this phrase that I started this video with: if someone gives you a gift you do not want, who keeps it then? Who has this thing? And they were like, thinking for a while, like, I guess they take the thing back, right? Yeah. It's theirs. But the moment you react, the moment you frown, the moment you're like, even if you don't say anything, the moment you like take it on, you've accepted that gift and they've won. So when someone says it to you, one, act like you didn't hear it. Two, like I told them, you can either tell them or tell them in your head, check me out when I'm an adult. Check me out when I am a grown-ass man. Like, that is a perspective shift there. Because then, and what that means is, they will be grooming their own self. They will be looking after their own, like what hairstyle they want for self and how that's going to look. They'll be fine, young men. So check me out when I'm an adult. So that'll be like, what? Like, so we're not taking it. We don't even have to like, we don't need to exchange. It's what you say to yourself to just kind of like pattern interrupt you there. Like, hello, I'll be this 6-footer person looking like what? Like fly, you know? And then they're cool. So a couple of days later, the scenario happened. And they're like, oh, so this kid came and said this thing to me. And then I just like, in my head, I just said, check me out when I'm an adult. And then I just started smiling and I just walked off. And then he was like looking complex. I'm like, good on you, mate. Like, yes. No, first of all, he said he walked away and then he was saying to himself, check me out when I was an adult. And then he just laughed and he even felt better about it. He didn't collect it. He didn't take it. When you are anchored in yourself, when you know who you are, this thing, you can't do anything about it. This is what mama and papa are saying you're going to carry. This is a hairstyle we can manage and look after. I cannot be going to the hairdressers or barbing salon every week, every two. No. So for that reason, this is the hairstyle we're going to be dealing with for now. But when I have chance to control how I look and with the styles I'm taking, check me out then. That anchored in him the conviction that I am, look, this is what my parents are saying for me to do now. But when I have charge for self, the hairstyle I'll be carrying, the way I'll be flying, the way things are, now it's not a thing. So we now use that in other scenarios. Then another kid was like, someone said something to them and they just went quiet or whatever. They are winning. So when we are anchored in who we are, if someone says you're not supposed to be in this room, it's like, man, do you know how many, like, again, we get to anchor ourselves. We're not to justify or respond or whatever. This is just stuff we do to self. So when people say stuff like, oh, what level are you? In my head is like, baby, you are going to wait to know. And it's just gives that. Because when someone then finds out, oh, I'm a trainee or whatever, and they're looking you up and down, or like, oh, I have to do some work, or someone, whatever, then we are, a bit of us is going, we're now carrying this thing. But when you know that this is kind of like what's going to happen, someone's going to ask you this kind of question or whatever, and you're anchored in yourself. And then when it happens, when they say it, and you just calm and just like, do you want to say that again? Or like, oh, that's another strategy I use, but whatever. But the whole idea, I'm sure you get the concept now. When people say stuff to us, even if it come from a place of authority, come from a place of like whatever, or a place of just scarcity or like whatever, like things like that. When you know you and you've anchored in self, whatever they say does not affect you. It would no longer affect you. When you start walking in yourself, you go into spaces and you get people looking at you somewhere and you just smile and carry on. You just do your own thing and move on. It does not affect you anymore. I used to go into places, you see other interpreters, like colleagues, and they'll be like, oh, they have their clickiness, and that thing used to get me. Like, you can just see them like doing the thing, and then you're your own, and then you feel like, no, baby, I stand my own ground. I'm alone. Like, once you know, like I always say, kill a monster while it's young. You know, this kind of scenario will trigger you, or this kind of things used to make you feel, make yourself strong in it, so that when you're in that situation, it's like laughing. Hmm, they good. We're not taking that gift from you. Uh, keep it for self. Whatever is like your insecurity, whatever that's going on for you, don't bring it down this way. We're not taking it. So let's get anchored in self. Let's um yeah, let's do the thing. Because with the tutor who told me that I couldn't be, and then I went and almost left. I've done a whole story about this and everything. The next, you know, it's gonna say semester. We do semester down here. The next time we went back in there and everything, another tutor came up to me like, oh, that tutor said, my goodness, you look different, you whatever. I like what happened, like what's going on with you? I'm like, yes, it worked. Because now their saying does not trigger me anymore. Her feeling like I couldn't be an interpreter, I am that interpreter now. I've got my thing. Because I wasn't, the gifts I kind of like gave back. Thank you. We're good now. We don't need this. We've worked on ourselves. We're good. We're moving on. Let's go. So you don't need to keep it. Permission if you need one. Permission to drop it. If you've already carried some, drop it right now. Let it go. Do the work that requires for that to be gone. And any future one, be a duck on the water. Let it bounce out of you. Like, nah, we're not doing this anymore. This is not our truth. We're not taking this on. We are there in our own right, and so be it. So maybe if someone hands you shame, maybe someone handed you fear, maybe someone handed you smallness, making you feel small, or maybe someone handed you silence, and maybe you are finally allowed to stop carrying those things now. I am Nene. We do this every single day. Remember, your voice matters and it's your time to use it. Go crush it. Bye for now.